I
can't tell if these are on.
They don't sound on.
I think that fourth one was on, but it's not loud.
This one?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Let you play a game. Find out what microphone box.
Yeah.
One of these things is
No.
No.
Yeah.
I have to sing tomorrow. Hello.
All right.
You're not getting level on anything? Will someone? You are getting
La la la. There.
Yay!
Thank you. That's why we need sound people.
There's the big thing for the big
Do you
picture.
like how the picture is covering my face? All right. This is my Q&A panel.
Hooray!
Is that mic over there on as well in the middle? Is there a mic there? Are you testing it?
Check.
There. Yay, lovely. Okay, we are on our way. Okay, my name is Stephanie Sheh. I'm a voice actress. I also direct and produce. I'll keep this relatively short. I know you guys like to clap for the titles that you recognize. But if I keep it short, then we'll have more time for questions and stories and stuff like that. Thank you guys all for being here. I apologize if I'm not as genki as usual. I was supposed to come in last night and I missed my flight on my connection. I had a 3-hour layover and I still missed my flight because I was at O'Hare and the plane left. They closed the gate 13 minutes before the flight was supposed to go. I was literally sitting one gate over, but I guess they don't have like a good PA system there, so like we didn't hear any announcements. I was like sitting there waiting. I was like, man, it's getting to be time. And so then I walked over there and the door was open, but like no one was waiting in line. I'm like, oh, they must have all boarded, right? So I turn around to grab my stuff, and literally in the minute that it took me to grab my stuff and look back at the gate, the door was closed and the guy was gone, and they removed the jet bridge. So the next flight here was at 6:45 in the morning, and because United and a lot of airlines are kind of suffering and hurting for money, they could not put me up in a hotel room, which means
Oh no.
I tried to sleep at the airport. Yeah, and then that flight was delayed for 2 different mechanical reasons, and then also took a longer route because there's storms right now, so couldn't take the most direct route. Anyways, that's all boring stuff. I do, you probably know me more for voiceover. I'm in shows such as Naruto and Bleach. I voice Hinata and Orihime. I'm currently Yui in K-ON. There is a concert tomorrow, I believe at 4, where yes, we will be singing in Japanese. Anyone here who was at AX? Mike, that's it. Mike was at AX. Mike, did you go to the concert?
Yes.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it was great.
Okay, so
Everyone should
take
go.
his word for it. If you don't like it, you can go see Mike. And then I am currently producing and also in Gundam Unicorn.
Woo!
That show is a simultaneous release, which means the English language is on the Japanese disc. It's not even Japanese disc, it's an international disc. So all the years that people have been complaining to me that the reason why they watch things illegally online is because they don't want to wait for it to come out. It's not an excuse anymore for Gundam. It comes out at the exact same time, and in order for that to happen, I pretty much get even less sleep than I did last night for like an entire 2-week period of time. So if you guys want to ask me questions about what it's like to do simultaneous release, that is, I would be more than happy to. Other things, 2 things I kind of want to cover just really briefly before I open stuff up to questions and stuff like that. Maybe 3 things. is one, my colleagues and friends and I have started a volunteer group. We're not an official nonprofit, although all our proceeds do go to a nonprofit. It's called We Heart Japan. You can go to weheartjapan.com, or you can go on Facebook and like us, and it's We Heart Japan, like Anime Industry Gives Back. I'm not wearing my t-shirt because I'm wearing the same thing that I wore yesterday morning. But like, we have t-shirts, they're $20. We do various events. We had an event 1 week after the earthquake tsunami hit, and basically it's for us to help raise money for those who've been affected in that area. Everyone that I've talked to who's been there, or know people who live there, the recovery process is really, really difficult, and it's not really being covered that much in the media. So if that's something that you guys care about or are interested in, please support us and just kind of like keep an eye out. We're going to sell the shirts online eventually, but we haven't had that set up yet. And we have various events a week after. Our first event was a week after the earthquake. I was saying that, and I'm rambling because my brain is bleh. But we had an art show, and we had like a bunch of voice actors come out and sign. We had raffles and prizes and food trucks and free alcohol. Yeah. And we raised over $6,000 that night, which was then matched by THQ. So in total that night we raised like over $13,000, which was really great. And for those of you guys who were the one guy was at AX, but the day before AX, Christina B and I did a private karaoke night. It was like $40 for you guys to be in a private karaoke room with a maximum of 20 people and karaoke with us. And it was a lot of fun and great. And we're having another show a stage show with a staged reading of a dub cast of an anime show, and we're also going to have music and martial arts demos and stuff like that, and that's October 1st. So just, pay attention, and if you're interested, and support us, yay, woo. Okay, that's one. Wow, it took a long time. Two, the other thing I wanted to say kind of really briefly, I can go off and off about it, and I'm sure people will have questions about it, is that for those of you who are not aware, I just want to give my shout out in the sense that, like, in terms of the anime industry, it seems to like finding its legs a little bit. Things have been getting a little bit better, but this is my plea for those of you who still watch anime online illegally. Please, please, please don't, because it really affects everybody involved. I mean, it affects me as a voice actor because more shows are not getting dubs, because they feel like they can't afford it, because they feel like people won't, because it costs more money to produce a dub. For example, Tales of the Abyss, the anime, which was a very popular game, is not getting an English version because I don't think that the numbers seem to be added up right, and I don't know that they were confident that they could sell enough copies to pay for the cost of the dub. It's gotten so bad that even I have friends who work at Japanese animation studios, and they always tell me, please, please explain to the fans that it hurts them as well. Because I don't know if you guys know the industry side or the business side of anime, is that for a company in the US to sell you a DVD, to make you a DVD, they have to pay a royalty or a licensing fee to the original company in Japan. Well, that royalty, the licensing fee, it's actually called a minimum guarantee. The reason why it's called a minimum guarantee is because it's actually a percentage of the DVD sales. So you pay the flat sum up front, and that is supposed to be an X number of units, whether it be 10,000 units, 5,000 units, 2,000 units. And once you surpass that amount of units, you're supposed to make additional payments. That is the percentage of, whatever their cut is for what they make. So for those who are diehard sub fans and don't think that not purchasing a DVD does, if they think that it doesn't affect Japan, it really does. It used to be that the money from the U.S., the licensing fee, was like extra, nice extra income that they could get overseas. But now, to the point, like, even in Japan, so many people are downloading and getting things free that it's hurting the industry there, that like they actually rely on that, to the point that, like, some people have been discussing, like, oh, it's so big, so look at Otakon, so many people, so many fans, why is an anime more mainstream or bigger, and what sells more in Japan is the stuff that is like super niche and that caters to like hardcore otaku that doesn't really make sense to more of an American audience, and that gets made because like, the hardcore otaku is gonna buy it and they're gonna go buy multiple copies and they're gonna buy figures and everything. So yeah, it does affect Japan as well. Like you are taking money out of their pockets as well. I've actually had some writers come to me say that they have great story ideas and they go to the studios and the studios basically say, we love your story, but we can't make any toys out of it, so we can't make this anime. Because we lose money by producing the anime, so we consider the anime like a commercial for the actual toy. Because you can't really, it's harder to bootleg a toy, so they make more money selling actual toys than DVDs. I don't know, so that's just something to think about. Just tell your friends, for those I'm sure you guys are educated and aware, but if not, just something to think about. Sorry, it's kind of a downer, I know, but it's important. So, I think I'm just gonna have people line up. I think it's easier, because I don't like to pick people. And then I'll miss somebody, and then you'll get mad, and I'll pick one person 3 times, and another person no times. You can go ahead and start. You don't have to wait for the line to form. Yeah.
Okay, since I'm first, hi Stephanie, welcome back to Otakon.
Hey, thank you for having me back.
And I remember last year when you were telling us about the independent game that
Eureka?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had the privilege of buying it, although I hadn't played it very much, so I wouldn't have known it if you hadn't been promoting it.
So did you get it?
Yes.
Is it fun? Do you like it?
I haven't really played that much, but the parts that I played, I liked.
Okay, cool. They're hoping, because not everything is voiced in that game, they're hoping that if they can sell enough copies that they might do a patch or something and they'll have more audio for it. For those of you guys who don't know, I am in a game called Shiraoka, Shiraoka. And if you search for it, it's a downloadable game, and it's pretty much it's a dating sim, but it's made in the US with English voices, and Michael Cera Nicholas is in it, and some other voice actors that you will recognize are also in it. So it's pretty cool if you're into that kind of stuff to support them, because literally it's this couple who basically loved dating sim games and didn't know why there weren't any in the US market, so they made their own. They both work for game companies, and then like on the side with their own money and their own extra time, I don't know where they find it, they made their own game. So.
Well, that was actually an inadvertent segue into my question.
Okay.
And difference between dubbing an anime series and dubbing a video game from Japan. Can you describe it, and can you tell us which one you prefer?
I think I actually prefer working on an anime show. It pays much less. Video games pay much more. But just the experience as an actor, because at least when you're dubbing an anime show, you're going in order, and you can see the picture, and you know what's going on, and it's much longer, so there's more character development. For video games, it's sometimes the games are so big that you only get your lines, and they're out of context, or there isn't as much of a story, so it's not as fulfilling as an actor. But I mean, obviously it's still acting, so I still love it, but I'm a fangirl. I started out as a fan, so I still prefer that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi.
Hello, you have a cute voice.
Thank you. My question is, what got you into anime, and at what point did it just click in that this is something you really want to do? There's nothing else in the world that has to be it.
I never set out to be it's not that I wanted to be an actor for anime. It wasn't that. I just wanted to be an actor. When I was a kid, I watched Voltron and Robotech. Ooh, 5 lions. 5 lions. I didn't know it was anime. I loved it. At my babysitter's, we would fight over I think at the same time, I think it was that and like Ninja Turtles or something that was on at the same time. I always tell Michaelson or Nicholas, who's a good friend of mine, this story to make fun of him. But like, we would camp out in the room because the rule was like, it wasn't how many people in the room wanted to watch it, got control of the TV. It was whoever was there first, right? So you start going like 15 minutes early. Then the other side would go like 20 minutes early. Then it was like 30 minutes. And literally we'd be like there like, as soon as school let out, like we would run and race to there so we could just camp out and so that we could watch Voltron. Because, you know, it was to be continued. So if you missed the story, then you were like, what happened? Damn you, Ninja Turtles. So I liked anime without even knowing what it was. And then it wasn't until college I was writing for the school paper and they said, hey, what's this anime thing all about? Do an article on the anime club. So I had to go to a meeting, and I went to the meeting, and they watched the very first episode of Evangelion, which is a cliffhanger. And they watched the very second episode of Escaflowne, which is a cliffhanger. And then they watched an episode of Marmalade Boy, and then an episode of Slayers, which, by the way, were both like horrible cliffhangers. Even though those shows don't always end in cliffhangers, they were. And I remember sitting there going, shit, I have to come back next week. So that's kind of like how I got into anime. And then because I wanted to be an actor, it's embarrassing to say because I'm a voice actor, but when you first get into anime, wait, how many of you guys have been watching anime for over 5 years? Wow, that's a lot. Okay, wait. Okay, only 3 years. What about only like 1 year? Like totally new? Okay. So, but you remember like when you first started watching it, like you had to watch everything. Like you wanted to like well, that's how I was. Like I went to the store and like rented tapes at the time. and you know, I had to choose between subtitles or dubs, and other than the Ranma dubs, I really didn't like most of the dubs. So since I was always wanting to be an actor already, I was like, I could at least be that good. So that's how that happened, actually.
Okay, and one last question. Out of all of the characters you voiced, which do you like really connect to the most, like relate to?
That's really hard because I think I connect different levels with different characters, but I think the one that comes to my mind first is probably Mamimi. She's kind of a loner and she's bullied, and I think her main thing is like, I think that she's really lonely. She's a really, really lonely person. And when I was growing up, I was picked on and bullied a lot, so that like I could relate to that.
Thank you.
Thank you. What's up, dude?
Hello.
Hey.
This is from Pink Spacebook. Basically, here's what's my question. It has to do with content as a service. Now, basically, because you were talking about how the watching illegally. Now, what do you see happening actually on the industry and company side to address these issues of being able to watch the anime in the language that person wants on any device? That's a big thing that I kind of keep wondering about with industry, even from like the Japanese side. I was wondering.
Well, I will say that like Japan is kind of a little bit slow to adopt certain technologies, and as well as online things. One, because they're afraid, because so much stuff has been pirated that they're just worried about security. You know, what devices in particular are you that you trying to watch?
Well, you know, across Android and iOS.
So you'd rather like watch stuff on your phone then?
Well, not actually on the phone. I'd rather actually have it available on the phone that I could connect to the HDMI out and put it in.
And then put it into your...
But basically, I pay for the service to do such a thing like that.
Yeah, that is like... I don't think that... I mean, I don't know in terms of... To the best of my knowledge, I don't know that any company is working on that right now. I think... You want to say something?
Well, I was just going to ask, just to simplify the question a little bit, like, take a service like Netflix watching instantly. How does that streaming impact, say, like, the resumes, say, like, series that you're talking about, 80 hours? And what he's sort of talking about in terms of watching it on a device over the internet.
Well, I will say that, like, definitely it's something that, Japan has kind of been traditionally, like, afraid of and slow to adopt. But you can rent stuff from Netflix. I don't know how much streaming there is, because does anyone have a Netflix account?
I do.
It varies, but
Is there a lot of anime that's available immediately?
Not much.
it's getting there. It's more.
I do know this. I mean, there's Crunchyroll, which has a lot of stuff.
They have good advertising.
But I also do know that so far, another reason why I think the companies might be a little bit slower to adopt is that the percentages that they get for streaming, the percentages that the people who run those services give back to the license holder is very, very little.
It's like the Apple teeth with 30%.
I actually think it's less than that.
Oh no, Apple requires at least 30% of things before they give it back.
Oh, okay, right.
Apple teeth.
It's very hard. It's just very hard to make that, and I mean, I actually just got a letter from a director, a studio owner / director, that sent a letter out, basically saying that 2 days after the street date of a DVD, the English dub was online to watch free streaming, and on that site, it said that everything was legal and whatever, which it wasn't. And basically the license holder basically said, we're not dubbing the show anymore because we're not going to be able to sell any DVDs if this is what's going to happen. And so, like, he wrote a letter to that website, and apparently the distributor wrote multiple cease and desist letters, and it still hasn't been taken down. So, and I've run into kids who don't know any better, like 14-year-old, whatever, and they'll say like, oh, I saw Lucky Star, it was so good, and they watched it on like VO, the English dub, So it's really hard. I mean, I understand that like money is tight, like I don't make that much money as a voice actor specifically for anime. Well, I mean, it's like a vicious circle, like it doesn't pay very well because there's like no money, So I get that, so I'm kind of like, I don't know, somebody just said to me like, it's like, if I can't afford a Gucci bag, like I'm not gonna go steal one, you know what I mean? Like, I'll buy what I can, or I watch what I can. Like, I'm totally even fine with like sharing amongst your friends, or renting, or going to like certain sites that does stream, even though like Crunchyroll has a lot of shows. They don't, like, percentage-wise, they don't give as much back to the original license, but it's something. It's better than nothing. At least you're not stealing it. You know what I mean?
I don't know what that's about.
So I don't know, spreading the word or whatever, and even like maybe trying to talk more to Japan about developing something like that. I think at this point nobody has the time, the money, or the energy to go into that, and I think they're very, very afraid of like stuff getting taken or things getting released beforehand. Like what happened with One Piece and Funimation server. Like everything was stolen. You know what I mean? Like before it was supposed to air. That's why people are really slow to be like, oh, simultaneous release. It aired before it even aired in Japan. Like it was out. Like that's not good. It's like, why do you have to be that way? So.
And then I guess a follow-up with this is you saw that more things were about the merchandising and things like that.
Yeah.
So you even see that more just affect for like the general otaku, but do you also see it also affecting for what they'll actually try to brand across the entire globe?
Well, yeah, definitely. No, I'm friends with the overseas licensing manager for Studio Kyoto. They do Bleach and Naruto, Blue Dragon, a bunch of other stuff. But like when I saw her at TAF, it was 2 years ago. She was like, we don't have any U.S. investors. Like we just don't. Like nothing we're developing is like for the U.S. Also because like they're hurting, their industry's hurting, so like they need investors, like they need people to sit on a board to invest money. So if you invest money, then you have a say of how the development of the story is gonna gonna come out, you know, and what the audience is gonna be like. Well, there's nobody from the US, not a single US company, not a single US entity, because no one wants to put up the money, and they can only give them a small portion, or like it's just not working. So definitely, it has. I don't know if you guys have noticed, like the shows that have come over so far have been like, and have done really well, have been more like things like Haruhi, or things like Lucky Star, which, I'm sorry, as much as I love those shows, you try to give that to someone who's not an otaku, like they're just not gonna get it. Do you know what I mean? And it's really hard. Now, I'm not saying we don't want those shows. Those shows are great, but that's not only anime. There's so many other beautiful, lovely stories, you know? And we're limiting ourselves to this like niche thing. And so then when somebody says, oh, that anime stuff is weird, or when someone from Cartoon Network is like, oh, you know, like it's, do you know what I mean? Like, that just like fosters that kind of belief, which I don't agree with. And, you know, I talked to somebody from Funimation, and they've been releasing a lot of kind of like titty booby shows. I don't know if you noticed that, right? And I'm not saying, I don't want to be down on titty booty shows, but do you know why? Do you know why they release so many titty booty shows?
That's what sells.
Yeah, but do you want to know the other reasons why it sells? Is because those shows are not considered A, B level shows, you know? They're kind of considered down here. So there's no real huge fan base that know about the show, like really beforehand, that's going to steal it first. And you also go like, you also have the random person who walks through, like who doesn't know that much about anime, who walks through the store, the Target, the Best Buy, and they look at the cover and they're like, oh, titty boobies, and they get more random pickup buys, you know. But it's all driven by like what sells, you know. Something like Sergeant Frog is huge, right? It's a huge show. It's a total failure.
And then again, actually, because you brought up the looking in Target.
When we move on to the next
Sorry, I did this with Craig already. Sorry.
Yep.
Hey, Stephanie.
Hey, what's up?
I was taking my train here this morning, and I was rewatching Gurren Lagann. Were you in that anime? Because I thought I heard your voice.
Yeah, I was. I was
okay.
Keenon.
Yeah, I thought I just asked you myself. So.
Yeah.
Also, what was your favorite line in your voice acting career?
Oh, I don't know. What is your guys' favorite line? What? Hinata? Oh, just when she says Naruto. What? Naruto? Oh, I don't have memorable. I think guys have more memorable lines. Do you have a favorite line?
Honestly, I don't remember.
I know. See, I don't remember either. Okay, wait, Mike, go. You got what? Oh, hi, Lucky's from Lucky Star. They're not real lines. They're like so short. Okay. That's fainting. That's not line either. Alright, I'm sorry. I got nothing.
I got an idea. I was about to just say Takun.
Takun? You want me to say it? Oh, you want me to say a line?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were just asking over here. She pretty much goes, what's her first line? She's like,
hey, Takun.
She's like, Takun, what are you doing? Why don't you do your homework at home, or at school, or home, or what did she say? Something like that. Cool, thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm long-winded.
Hi.
Hi.
I guess on behalf of everybody here, I'm kind of glad you came to Otakon again. So.
Kind of? Wait.
I mean,
what does that mean?
I'm sorry. My question was, when you were first cast in Eureka 7, what was your first thoughts on the story and the character you did?
I had no idea what was going on. Because did you guys get the DVDs there as a behind the scenes interview? So that very first interview, another reason to buy DVDs, guys. The very first interview, was pretty early on. We hadn't even finished recording yet. And they were like, oh, we're gonna ask you all these questions about the show. And I was like, what? I was like, what's a gecko sting? I was like, because was so quiet and had very few lines, and she didn't like really interact with much of the crew in the beginning. Like, because when we go in, I only see my own lines. So even if she's on screen and doesn't talk, like I don't see those scenes, you know? So in the beginning, it was really, really hard. I actually had to ask Bang Zoom for like copies of like the first 7 episodes, and like I was like watching it and like studying it, and like, so yeah, in the beginning it was like really, really hard to figure out, but in the end, it ended up being pretty cool. It's 52 episodes, so I remember when it ended, I felt really sad and like, oh, we've been doing this for so long. Dude, when Bleach and Naruto end, if they ever end, that's gonna be that we're all gonna be like, we're gonna have a group therapy session. We'll know what to do with ourselves. Yeah.
Bleach is going to be on for a long time. It's already his like 10th anniversary.
I know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. Actually, I had 2 questions. One, for the voice role of Guu from Jogo and Hare and Guu, do you find that different from most of your other roles in the sense that it was sort of sarcastic and terribly cruel?
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, definitely. It's a little close to like, have you seen Lucky Star? It's a little bit like Lucky Star, but Friendly Guu is much sweeter. And I think Akira is just more energetic. And Guu is more weird and sarcastic and dry, and I think Akira is like more mean when she's jaded. But that was a lot of fun to do. I had a lot of fun on that show.
And the other question is, what is the weirdest line you've ever had to say?
I don't remember my lines. I don't know.
Thank you.
Sorry. I feel like a failure.
Hi, Stephanie.
Hi.
Okay, first of all, I want to say that I like love you and your voice acting and stuff.
Thank you.
And I have 2 quick questions. My first question is, can you make an Akira Kogumi impression?
You want me to say something?
Yeah.
Like, okay. I'm so tired. Okay, ready? I need long sleeves, but I don't have them. Okay. Hi, Lucky! That's her, and then she's like, what are you guys all doing here? That's like jaded, Akira.
And my second question, my cousin, he really wanted me to say this, and I feel like I'm gonna get like some booze, but he really wanted me to ask you. So, are you a Naruhina fan?
Oh yeah, of course. Like, who wouldn't be?
Naruhina fan haters?
Do they exist?
Yeah.
Why, because they want him to get together with Sasuke?
Yes.
Thanks.
Okay, I have a question for you and a question for Hinata.
Oh, okay.
And it's kind of a follow-up question for hers.
Okay.
And I didn't know what she was going to say, so this
All
wasn't
right.
planned
Go.
whatsoever. Okay, so a question for Hinata. Since I've heard that she is apparently, I don't know now, it's like first she likes Naruto and now I'm hearing that she likes Kiba. So I want to ask Hinata, who does she like better? And then question for you is, do you like Naruhina and Kiba? My bad. Or one or the other better?
You mean,
Like,
not
do you
Kiba
like-
as in that pairing?
No, Hina Kiba. My bad. That was my fault.
No, I can't. I mean, Kiba's so rough and rough.
She got paired with the 2 rough guys.
Yeah, but I just think, I see it more like a brother-sisterly respect thing, and I think that she's more gooey and gaga over Naruto. I don't know why, but she is.
Go Hinata!
Hey, Steph.
Hey, what's up?
I want to know what's your favorite moment in Bleach as Orihime?
My favorite moment is still when she got hit by a car and she didn't realize it. And I know it's like really early on, like the 3rd episode or 2nd, I don't know, it's like really, but like, who doesn't realize that she got hit by a car?
Thank
How you doing?
Hey.
I just have one question. Any new information about season 2 of Haruhi Suzumiya?
Yes.
Any new information? You know it's out, right?
Yeah. Actually, it's news to me now.
Okay. They probably have it at the Bandai.
Okay.
Yeah. So just so that you know, since you might not know, this is what's available. Season 1 of Haruhi, Season 2 of Haruhi, Haruhi-chan, which are these like mini shorts, and they're very weird and drawn very strange. And then September 20th, the disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya will be out. And today at 5 p.m. at the Bandai booth, there is a Haruhi signing. There are free Haruhi movie posters. I think Mike has 2 of them already, probably. But I will be there with Johnny, and also the guy who did the music. Hey, I saw you earlier today.
Yeah, hi.
Hey.
Well, one of my favorite roles by you is Himeko from Kanazuki no Miku.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering, was it really different for you being in a Yuri anime from being in an anime like Lucky Star?
You know what? I don't approach it that differently. I kind of just, do it from the character's perspective. But I will say that Kanazuki no Miko was confusing to me because I didn't know it was a Yuri anime. When I started the show. Okay? So, and in the beginning, you know how they're kind of pairing? It seems like she likes that guy, right? So then then I was like, then you know how things are in anime, like the girls get girl crushes sometimes, but it's not necessarily a Yuri anime. So I thought, oh, maybe it was that. But then other stuff would happen, and then it's like, oh no, now it's getting like really serious. Okay, now they're like naked. Yeah, and then there's giant robots, and there's also fighting. So yeah, I remember I usually get anime pretty good, like I understand it. That one was probably the most confusing to me because nobody set me up in the beginning, and I was like, what is this? What's going on? Anyway, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, Stephanie.
Hey, what's up?
Hi. I just want to first thank you for all your work over the years.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. And my question here is, I noticed that you've been getting at least a little bit more roles for Funimation Entertainment. And I just want to know, is it becoming more easier to get more roles there, or is it still difficult since you're all the way in California?
Oh, I don't know if it's more difficult or less difficult. I think basically if they have the time and the budget, what they'll do is some of the directors will be like, oh, we can use out-of-towners on this, and then they'll send out an audition, and I have to audition just like I would have to audition for any other show in LA. And then if I get cast, we do what we can in terms of scheduling and moving things around. They don't pay for you to fly, they don't fly you out, so I have to pay for my own plane ticket. And I have to find a place to stay myself. But I'm friends with a lot of people at Funimation, so sometimes I can crash with somebody, in Dallas. And I think I've just been kind of lucky that kind of happened and that I was able to be on a few shows there. It's always fun to get an excuse to, go there and then have dinner with a bunch of people.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Hi.
Hey.
I'm sure you get this question a lot, but what is your favorite anime show?
I don't really have a favorite.
Any number of favorites?
I really liked Furikuri. I really liked Koikaze. God, there's a lot. I liked Lucky Channel. I like Lucky Star. There's a lot of things that I like. I like a show called Akatan Toboku. I loved Fushigi Yugi when it first came out. But you can only watch that show once. The second time it's not as good. The first time it's really good. And the second time you're like, whoa, it's really cheesy. How come I didn't notice that the first time I watched it?
I'll watch next episode of anything with that ending.
Yeah, it's good music to it. Yeah, there's a ton of stuff that I like. It
Yeah,
changes
understand.
with my mood,
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hey.
I was just wondering, which character did you have the hardest time connecting with?
Connecting with. Well, I did have a hard time on Kanazuki no Miko just because I didn't know what was going on. And like, I tried to approach things from the character's point of view, so then it was like, for the longest time, I was playing it like I liked the dude because that's how it was set up in the beginning, and nobody told me I liked the girl. So that was confusing. And there was a job I got fired off of, so I would say like, that was a hard time connecting with that show. That's all I can think of off the top of my head.
Thank you.
Thanks. What's up?
If someone buys an episode from a series you play in, but you don't play in that episode, does it affect you?
Huh?
Like, do you gain profit from an episode from...
Okay, so when actors get hired, they just get hired for their work. Like, I don't make any, okay, let's see, how do I explain this? If a show sells a crap ton of DVDs, right? Like if it sells like 10 million copies, that's a lot. No anime show sells 10 million. But if it does, I get paid exactly the same as if it sold 0 copies. Because I get paid for how long it takes me in the studio. So I don't get a percentage or anything like that. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I have a hug?
Can you have a what?
A hug.
A hug? After, is that cool?
That's fine.
Okay.
Hey Stephanie.
Hey, what's up?
I'm doing great. Question is, do you do like Doug live action?
Yeah.
If, who you liked better, Hinata or Orihime?
Oh, that's hard. I don't know that I could pick who I like better. I'd probably, because Orihime is older, it'd probably be more fun for me to hang out with Orihime. Plus because she seems a little bit stupid. She's not stupid, but she says like silly things, so that would be fun because I would laugh at her. Plus I'd probably eat anything that she made just to see what it tasted like. But I have so much like, I feel so much for Hinata, so I couldn't pick favorites, like people, you know? But I think I'd probably like to hang out with Orihime more.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello. Mind if I call you Stephanie? Okay, Stephanie, I really like all of your work, and you're like my favorite, not just my favorite voice actor, but you're one of my favorite actors. So,
oh, thank you.
And now for my question. At Katsucon, Greg Iyer said when he was recording his role as Kenshin in Sengoku Basara,
yes,
he said he had some trouble recording it because of your some of your lines as Kasuga. Did you have any trouble recording those lines in particular?
No, I didn't have trouble. I was like really excited because I got to play the hot girl. I don't mean like the cute big boob girl. I got to play like the hot girl. So, yeah, I didn't, but I did get all gooey over Greg's character all the time. So,
thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
First of all, sorry.
It's okay.
Let me just say how big a fan I am of your work.
Oh, thank
I
you.
really like your acting, your
Oh.
voice acting. I haven't seen any of your real stuff. First of all, I have 2 questions. First of all, going off of what somebody else said, what did you get fired from?
Oh. All right.
I'm
here's-
just curious.
Do you want to know?
Yes.
Okay, so it's embarrassing.
Well, I
It's
just
embarrassing.
want to know, 'cause why would someone fire you from something?
No, you know what? They had a very good reason to fire me. And in retrospect, you also have to keep in mind it was very early in my career. I was young. It wasn't about young. I was a little less inexperienced, and I was nervous. If anything, the reason I got fired is because I didn't have enough confidence and I was nervous. It was apathy.
Whoa.
The movie. I think Karen Strassman ended up doing the part. But it was my very first time working with Mary Elizabeth. she intimidated the crap out of me. Not because she was not mean or intimidating. It was just me. I was just like, oh my God, it's Mary Elizabeth. She directed Cowboy Bebop. I'm so freaked out. It was my first time working for that company. And I was it might have been the second time actually. And I was really nervous about messing up. I played, or I was gonna play, what's the character? Is it Hitomi maybe? Hitomi, yeah. It was that character. And I think, because Hitomi is kind of like a soft-spoken character, a little soft-spoken, but yet she's also an officer, right? And I think the reason why I got fired is because like, I was bringing the softness, but I wasn't getting that sense of authority and that sense of poise, and basically the sense of poise and authority. And as the session went on, I was second-guessing myself. And like, if I got stuck on a line, I got more and more nervous, and I got more insecure, and I got less and less confident. And like, really, how am I supposed to play authority and confident if I really just felt not confident and like really, really, like the exact opposite of being confident. Like I was like beating myself up. I was in the session, I could tell it was not going well. And I think part of it not going well was like me and all of my internal monologue and all of my insecurities and stuff like that. But that said, you know, like the producer and the director were like super, super gracious, and they basically said, you know what, this isn't working out. We think we miscast you. It doesn't mean that we won't work with you again. We've done this 2 other times in our very long careers, and both of those actors are really awesome. They told me who those actors were. I'm not going to say who they are just because I don't know if they want to share that information. And they were 2 people that I really looked up to. So it made me feel better, and they handled the situation really nicely. I still went home and cried my eyes out, but yeah, and it's like, and now, you know, I work with Mary all the time, and it's a much different situation, but like, so that also for you, all of you guys who like want to be voice actors, make sure you have enough training and understand like there's so much involved, and that when you get your opportunity that you're mentally ready for it, you know?
And second of all, my other question is, I noticed that in shows like, you know, Lucky Star and Free Delivery, which I actually watched, which was amazing. Johnny is so awesome. And so were you. So were you though, but sorry, I liked it. And shows like that and Sengoku Basara, you use a deeper voice, like the natural voice like you're using now.
Right.
In most other things I've seen you in, you use, you know, that high-pitched falsetto, that no-way voice.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, like, I don't know if this is something you're in control of, or why you don't use your natural voice more often.
It's, okay, I'm in control of my voice in the sense of like, I'm controlling it, you know? But I'm not in control so much of what people cast me in. So, if I have an audition and they show me a bunch of characters, I will do the voice of what I think fits that character. And I might read for a ton of different characters, but what the producer and director and client casts me for, that's the voice I end up using. So.
I was just curious if I prefer your natural voice or not.
Oh.
I hear you a lot in your no-way voice, and it's good, but I just like you natural.
It's more natural.
Yeah.
It's not
No, I just like you when you use your natural voice because it has more power behind it.
Yeah, I get that. That makes sense.
Hello.
Hello.
First of all, I just wanted to say that I also agree that my voice sounds really weird.
I know, right? You're like, hello.
But I'm in the same boat as you. Only got an hour of sleep, and my face got stepped on the floor, so...
Wait, someone stepped on your face?
You can probably tell.
I can't, actually.
Yeah. Okay, so, I was forced up here. That one over there.
Oh, they
and the red. And after I ask this question, you are free to throw chairs, steel-toed boots. Okay, she wants to know, do you prefer Sasuke Hinata?
Me?
Throw things.
No. Sasuke is like so broody. He would make the worst boyfriend, seriously. He'd be like, I'm off doing my like internal struggle with my family here. I can't go on a date with you.
Okay, and I was also sent up here. I was sent to ask another question, and that was, how do you get into the voice acting business? Do you have to live in Texas?
You have to live where it's being done, or you have to be willing to travel there and have the flexibility and the money to travel wherever it's being done, whether that be New York, whether it be Texas, whether it be Canada. And I would say be an actor, practice on your voices, practice on acting, make a demo tape, not tape, CD, submit it, ask around. That's pretty much it. It's like, and then cross your fingers.
And do you hate Cartoon Network?
No! Why would I hate Cartoon Network?
Because they made a stupid decision with Naruto.
Oh.
I'm sorry, can I just say something? She has a show on Cartoon Network right now. Why would she hate it?
I don't, you know.
I'm sorry, I'm just curious. Why would she hate it? She has a show
Well,
on
I get like some people are bitter that they got rid of all the anime, so I understand that. But you know what that means? It just means that we'll have to make an all-anime channel, so. Alright, so I have 5 minutes left, so let's just finish the line real quick.
Hi, Stephanie.
Hey, how are you?
I was just wondering, just to say right now, the scene between Orihime and Ichigo when Orihime says goodbye to Ichigo, do you ever get emotional during those type of scenes?
That one I did. The one where like she couldn't tell them that she was like, she was gonna go be kidnapped. She willingly went, but yeah, that one I did get. I thought it was really sad.
Yeah, because I know that sometimes it's a little crazy, and just being there and being in the character, you get kind of emotional with it.
I totally got emotional, yeah. And especially because I'm listening to the Japanese performance first, and it was so good, so.
Hi, Stephanie.
Hello, Dr. Horrible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. I just wanted to ask in regards to your work as Orihime from Bleach. Do you ever get tired of playing the damsel in distress, or your voice kind of works out that way sometimes?
You know, Orihime is not that far from my, it's close to my natural range, it's just a little bit higher. It's fine. It does get a little boring when, for 4 episodes, all you do is either go, or, Ichigo! It just gets a little boring, that's all.
I get it.
My name's James.
Hey, James.
I was wondering, do you play your role in Slayers with Lisa
Ortiz?
Yeah.
Lisa Ortiz? Lisa was in New York and I was in LA. But yes, we were both in Slayers.
No.
I took over the role of Sylphiel, but we didn't record together. We recorded separately.
Separate?
Yeah.
And would there be a new Slayers?
Oh, I have no idea about that. I don't know. You gotta ask the animators and then see if anyone will pick up the license. So.
And, are you a singer or a DJ?
Am I a DJ? No. I wish. I do have a concert tomorrow at 4 p.m. and that's for K-ON. So I wouldn't necessarily call myself a singer, but I do sing in the concert.
Okay.
All right.
My friend had a really important question, but she chickened out and wouldn't come up. So
Okay. All the chickens are on that side.
Yes. Okay, what's your favorite color?
Pink and black.
Nice.
It's so goth of me, I know.
She's got a pink and black hat.
Yeah. Cool.
I don't think that's awesome.
What's my favorite food? Ramen.
Yes!
Yeah.
Somebody get Naruto. They're gonna went out for ramen.
Most affordable meal ever.
Hi, Stephanie.
Hey, what's up?
I have 2 quick questions.
Okay.
One, do you know any more progress on season 2 for Sengoku Basara? Because I know it's not out yet.
I don't know.
That you can talk about or no?
I don't know. I just go in there to record and I don't know what season it is and I don't know what, I don't know.
That's okay.
But I didn't go in recently, so I just don't know.
And one more question. Are you going to be featured at Voice Actors After Dark tonight?
I don't know. This all depends on whether or not I get back from dinner on time. Cassandra really wants to go, and Shelby wants to go because they've never done it before.
We know Christina V's going.
But, oh wait, is Christina really going?
She confirmed it at our panel.
Yeah, but that was before we had the discussion about dinner. I told them maybe we'd show up late and drunk, then I would go. But I basically didn't want to like miss out on dinner. Like, so, I don't know. Like because Cassandra and Shelby have never been, and so they wanted to go, ooh, sounds fun. I'm like, you know, they're gonna just like make you say swear words in your character, and they want to hear like horrible dating stories and sex stories and jokes, and that's what it's gonna be about.
All right, thank you.
Okay, with last two, let's do rapid fire.
Yes.
Okay.
What?
Yes.
What is your opinion of yaoi?
It's not for me, but if people like it, go for it.
Okay, I got sent up again by my other friend who's also a chicken.
Okay. Well, what's your question?
She wants you to sing something.
Oh, no, I can't. I'm sorry. My voice is not in good shape, and I have no sleep, and I don't know what to sing. I'll sing tomorrow at the concert.
Yay.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
All right, give it up for Stephanie.
Woo! You guys at 5 p.m. Oh wait, can I just really quick, like so you guys know what's going on, and then I will get out of here. And then okay. So tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. in this room, K-ON Q&A. 12:30 tomorrow, autographs and autograph 3. 4 o'clock mini concert in panel 3. 9 p.m. Bandai After Dark panel. And then Sunday, 10 a.m. At the Bandai booth, Gundam Unicorn autographs. And noon, voice actor autographs and autograph 1. And 2 p.m. there's a booth performance at the Bandai booth.
Woo! Thank you.
You know what? I was supposed to have one this morning, but I was on a plane. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
Quick show of hands. How many people here are staying for the next panel? Okay. Here's the thing.